All right, guys, this is 6.5 transformations of exponential functions, day 1. But this is your last lesson for the week. I'm just going to talk about things that we've already learned about, but specifically so that you guys could get the difference in between the two. So for the very first one, remember when I add a k. If you add a k, then that means it shifts up or down. That's what K does. If you remember H shifts it left and right. So I have my 3 different graphs here. Your original graph is the red, so that's 0.5 raised to the x power. If you have 0.5 raised to the x power plus 3, remember, then that means from this point, it's going to go up 3 units. So when I say anything plus a number, that means it's going to shift up. For this one, I have 0.5 raised to the x minus 3. So because I said minus 3, that means it's going to go down 3 units. And so anytime you have an equation that says that it's minus a number, that just means it's going to move down that many units. Now, talking about H, notice that for H, the only thing that's affected is your exponent. So here I have 0.5 raised to the x, that's my original function. For the next one, I have 0.5 raised to the x plus 3. That means that it is going to shift to the left 3 units. When I have 0.5 raised to the x minus 3, that means it's going to shift to 3 units to the right. So if it's plus, it's actually minus, so it's going to be moving to the left. When it's minus, it's actually addition, so it's going to be moving to the right. So that's what you guys are already used to when we're talking about H and K. All right, so for your examples, literally all you are going to do, excuse me, is just tell me how it's going to shift. So if I say g to the x, where it's equal to 2 to the x plus 1, remember I have a big plus 1, that means that's my k, that means it's going to shift up 1 unit. For this one, I have g of x is equal to 2 to the x plus 2. That affects my exponent, so that means my h. Remember when it says plus, it's actually minus, so that means I am going to shift to the left 2 units. For the next one, I have f of x is equal to 2 of x minus 1. So I have minus 1. That's a big one. So I'm going to go down 1 unit. Here I have 2 of x is 2 of x minus 6. Minus 6. That means I'm going down 6 units. Here I have 2 of x plus 3/4. It doesn't matter that it's a fraction. I am still going to go up 3/4 of a unit. For the next one, I have 2 raised to x minus 4. That affects my exponent, so that means it's going to, remember if it says minus, it needs to move to the right. So right 4 units. And that's all you have to do. Now, sometimes they're going to give you a table. And for that table, all you're going to do is use the function button that I showed you before. So for the very first one, they tell me that these are all my functions originally. So all I need to do is find out what each one will be with the x that is given to me. My x's are -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So you see where these x's are? That's where I will be putting these numbers in. So for the very first one, I will put 2 to the -2 plus 3. So in my calculator, I'm going to hit 2, my function button, to negative, and then plus 3. So it's 3.25. So my answer here would be 3.25. Next one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I have -1 this time. So 2 to the -1 plus 3. So I'm going to hit 2, my function button, to the -1 plus 3. It's 3.5. So I will write 3.5, and that's my answer. 2 to the 0 plus 3. You have to remember that any number raised to the 0 power is automatically going to be 1. So the 2 to the 0 power is 1. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. 2 to the 1 is just going to be 2. 2 plus 3, 5. 2 to the second power, that means 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 plus 3 gives me 7. And that's my answer for this row. For the next one, I'm going to do the same exact thing. So I have 2 to the -2 minus 3. So 2 function button, -2 minus 3 gives me -2.75. So I'm going to put -2.75. Here I have 2 to the -1 minus 3. So 2 function button, -1 minus 3 gives me -2.5. 2 to the 0 minus 3, remember anything to the 0 power is 1. 1 minus 3 gives me -2. 2 to the first power is 2. 2 minus 3 gives me -1. And then 2 to the 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is a +1. And that's it for that row. For the next one, I'm going to do something a little bit different because it says 2 raised to the x plus 3. So I'm going to have 2 to the -2 plus 3. -2 plus 3 is 1. So 2 to the 1 is equal to 2. Again, I'm going to do it again. I have 2 to the -1 plus 3. -1 plus 3 is 2. So 2 to the 2 I know is 4. Next one, 2 to the 0 plus 3. 0 plus 3 gives me 3. 2 times 2 times 2 gives me 8. Next one, 2 to the 1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 gives me 5. So I'm going to hit in my calculator 2 function button 5, hit equals, it gives me 32. Last one, 2 to the 2 plus 3. Oh, did I mess up? I sure did. This should have been 3, which means this should have been 4, which 2 to the 4 is actually 16. Sorry, guys. But at least we have the answer to the next one, right? 2 to the 5th, I already know is 32 because we did that before. All right, and then these are all of your answers for that one. For your assignment for today, you are going to, for number 1, 2, and 3, just tell me how it affects your graph. So does it move up or down or left and right? For the last part, all you're going to do is fill in your table just like I did for the one previously. If you have any questions, please make sure that you contact me during my live between 11:30 and 12:30 and 2 to 3. Bye.